Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is 9 o'clock here on Monday night, April the 6th. Time for the 14First Alert Weather Show at 9. I'm glad you're here tonight. We have some great weather on the way. I'll be looking at your comments here about halfway through. So if you have any, you can put them on the 14 News Facebook page. All right, with our view out the window, it's clear as a bell out there at the moment. We are going to cool down tonight. Kind of a chilly one out there again. This morning we dropped down to 36. Tomorrow probably 39, 40 or so. And then cooler temps during the day on Tuesday, only up into the upper 50s. So about 10 degrees cooler than we had today. Kind of jacket, sweatshirt weather maybe for the first part. But we will warm up in a big way for the remainder of the week. Temperatures will rise into the mid to upper 70s, even into the 80s by Sunday and Monday next week. Right now we have mid 50s out there. Good sleeping weather. If you remember that, you kind of open the windows, let that cool air in. It might be a little too cool overnight, but at the moment we have 50s. And it was a little breezy today. We have winds of about 20 to 25 miles per hour across the tri-state, some wind gusts at that level. Now over the next 7 days, other than tomorrow in the 50s, we have a long run of above normal temperatures starting in the low 70s on Wednesday and topping out in the lower 80s there on Sunday and Monday. There are a couple of chances of rain along the way, and we'll get into that in a second. Storm risk out there from the Storm Prediction Center, none. We don't have any outlook areas until Wednesday, and that's still well to our west, and that severe weather threat will actually go to the north of the tri-state on Thursday. We don't have anything incoming that will generate thunderstorms until maybe Friday. 53 is our temperature now with winds out of the north at 6. And we got up to 66 today. We were just on the edge of warmer air. We had 70s in Paducah, Nashville, Memphis, Jonesboro, and we will draw that warmer air in beginning Wednesday and for the remainder of the week. Still though, we are warmer right now than we were yesterday at this time, and our degrees from normal this morning, we were about 7 degrees colder than the average and about a degree warmer than the average high this afternoon. Just for perspective there, our calendar, April started out really warm. 85 on Friday was the hottest temperature measured so far this month, and not the hottest for I think we had 88 back in May, if I'm not mistaken. I think I was off that week, but anyway, it got really warm, and no rainfall other than that 43 hundredths that we had on Saturday. So that leaves us with about a 1/4 of an inch rainfall deficit for the year. We are still dry, abnormally so, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. And if you've been following, that abnormally dry area continues to kind of swallow up the tri-state again. We kind of fended it off there with some rain a couple weeks ago, but we are kind of teetering on the brink of moderate drought conditions across the area. So we could really use some significant rainfall. Sadly, I don't see it happening this week. We have fairly dry pattern in here, more of a zonal flow west to east across the tri-state and across the country. High pressure will move into Lake Michigan and direct the wind around from the northeast. So that's why we have cooler temps tomorrow. Then as that low digs into Pennsylvania, our winds will shift around to the south, and that'll be the mechanism to warm us up. Notice the cold front to our north looks like, yeah, it'll slide in here, but watch what happens. It kind of pivots and never makes it in. That high pressure ridge will keep everything to our north. So that's why no active weather, at least through Thursday. We do show a slight chance for rain on Friday night, and then again on Sunday night and early Monday, and then longer range, and this is the GFS model, maybe showing a cold front with some showers or thunderstorms by the middle of next week. Of course, that's 10 days out, and I'll tell you, I'm just going to level with you, the models have really been disappointing in verifying. In other words, they show one thing and we don't get that. We haven't had near the rain that has been showing in the models, and to some extent we haven't had the severe threat that was modeled and it just didn't turn out. So we hate when that happens because obviously you don't want to cry wolf, you don't want to get people's hopes up for rain. It's the best info that we have. But yeah, where the models have come up short, and consequently we come up short then when we're trying to tell you how much rain and whether or not we're going to have thunderstorms or not. The GFS is right now advertising just scant rainfall Friday, and then maybe a little more there Monday, but certainly not anything major. The European model is even more tepid with rain chances, and it directs more of the showers there into Saturday and then into the first part of next week. That's really the only point of agreement on both, is the timing of Monday's rain. So hopefully we will get some significant and widespread rainfall then, but as you'll see here, the European model is not particularly generous with rain either, showing maybe a few hundredths of an inch. So we're going to have to watch that. It's too far out to do anything more than that. 39 degrees tonight, tomorrow's high up to 57, and then over the next 7 days we are on a warming jag here. We get temperatures back into the 80s by the first part of next week. I will check your questions now, if there are any. I don't think there's going to be many questions. There might be some topics to discuss, but other than that, it's pretty bleak weather-wise, at least chatting it up. Okay. Suzanne Daly's on. Good evening, Suzanne. Laura Gray watching from Dawson Springs. Happy Easter and welcome. We got Cheyenne Hammonds. Good evening. Paula Schaefer, Jeff Miller, Mary Danner watching from Evansville West Side. There you go. Glad to have you on there. Let's see. Ricky Brown, good evening. Zach Seats, any concerns about stronger thunderstorms for next week? Well, as I showed you there on the model, they're kind of showing the potential for maybe widespread rain, and you could infer thunderstorms with those temperatures in the 80s, but no, nothing concrete at this point. Doug Fisher, why were river and lake level forecasts deleted from the broadcast? Because we put them, they're available usually on our website, or you can go to the National Weather Service at Paducah and look at the water page, and they are all on there. What happened was the Weather Service changed the way that they report, or in other words, the format that they put the data in. And our vendor just now, in fact, we just did an update last week, developed software that can extract that data and show it graphically on the air. So hopefully we will have them back on. The river is falling, I believe, at the moment. I can check it here for you very quickly. I know it was up a bit last week and the week before, but it has been going the other way. And generally, we've kind of discovered that most people that need to know river information or care about it already know it anyway. And so with limited time on the air, we just kind of drop that. Not that it's not important, but just for the reasons I mentioned. Yeah, the river today at Evansville was at 25.3 and falling. And let's see, just a couple other stages here just to give you kind of an idea of where we are. Still rise on the Wabash there at Mount Carmel, but that is still below flood stage, and it will be falling as well. And with a lack of rainfall, we're not too concerned about additional rain or flooding coming up this week. Let's see, Jan Adams watching from Mount Carmel. I just mentioned Mount Carmel there on the Wabash, so glad to have you in there from Wabash County. All right, it's Monday night, so we get to watch an Out and About, and I know just from being on this live stream every night or most nights, a lot of you are fishers, right? You like to get out there and wet a line and do a little fishing. So we're going to check out a fishing team, a bass fishing team, high school, from Union County, and I think you'll get a kick out of this. Check out some of the fish that they caught on some of their tournaments. Well, that didn't work. Sorry about that. We'll have to get the audio checked out here. For some reason, we are not getting the play-out audio from video pieces on here tonight, so I apologize for that. Anyway, I can give you a brief synopsis there. I know, no sound. So this team started, a guy by the name of Gary Sheffer started the team, I think he said 5 years ago, and just with the idea it'd be a good activity for the kids. He was a fisherman, he knew many others, and these guys donate their time, their boats and so forth, and take these kids out, like on Barkley Lake and Kentucky Lake, and they were in eastern or central Kentucky on another reservoir, and they catch fish, for competition. And they've done very well. They've got boys and girls on the team, and we will look forward to seeing that piece tomorrow night. How's that for a cliffhanger? And I got to go down. They were just practicing casting and whatnot out at the lake there in Moffett Lake, which is in Union County. And so they had me come along and check it out. Unfortunately, we didn't catch any fish there, but we had some video of actual fish, big fish being caught on one of their meets. So we'll get to that tomorrow night. Hopefully, I'll get some help in here in figuring out what the glitch was all about. In the meantime, I appreciate you watching here, the 14First Alert Weather Show at 9, and I will see you over on TV on 14 News at 10. Have a good night and stay safe.